Streets of Rage 4 is a beat-em-up video game developed by Dotemu, Lizard Cube and Guard Crush Games. You can buy it now on the Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. The game is a continuation of Sega's Streets of Rage series, which was a trilogy of games that released during the early 1990s for the Sega Mega Drive. And as always guys, if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button if you enjoy the video, and also hit the bell button so you get notified every time I post a new video. So guys, here's my review for Streets of Rage 4. Streets of Rage is one of the first games I remember playing on my Mega Drive back in the early 90s. So obviously when I heard for the first time after 26 long years that Streets of Rage 4 was going to be remade, it instantly caught my attention and I began to pray to God that they were going to do the franchise justice. And you know what? They only went and made what I think is easily the best game in the series. The game takes place 10 years after the events of Streets of Rage 3. And this time they are going up against the evil Y twins, who are Mr. X's children and who have followed in their father's footsteps and have taken over the city. The story is told in a very beautiful comic book panel style, but the storyline is very straightforward. But let's be honest, we are not here for the story. Our heroes Axel, Blaze and Adam are now back again to clean up their beloved city once more. Now all a bit older, they are going to need some help. So new fighters Cherry and Floyd join the crew, who also bring their own fighting styles to the lineup. Cherry, who is Adam's daughter, has speed on her side to quickly move from one part of the screen to the other while also dealing decent damage. And we also get Floyd, who plays much like Max from Streets of Rage 2, who is slower but more than makes up for it with his brutal strength. Each fighter has their own strengths and weaknesses and different playstyles, so everyone will find a fighter that will suit their needs. As for the gameplay, well, it is as good as ever, if not better here. It still has the series' traditional style of moving around the levels and looking for incoming dangers as you move to the right of the screen as you beat the crap out of the many varied, new and classic enemies. But there are also some new additions like being able to juggle enemies in the air, creating some real fun moments and devastating combos. At one point I even got a combo of over 100 hits, which felt very satisfying and can easily be done once you get the hang of the combat. Special attacks also return, which can now be launched in mid-air, but you lose some health. But you can now recoup this health that you spent by landing regular hits and by not getting hit back, keeping you in the fight. The very useful superstar moves also return, similar to the original Streets of Rage Police backup team, though they can only be used if you have a star, but are a big help when you need to clear the screen of enemies, giving you that much needed breathing room. There is also the new weapon catch ability, where you can throw a weapon at an enemy and if you time it just right, you can then catch the weapon again and carry on bashing your foes' heads in, which adds another fun element to the combat. The main campaign has 12 levels to fight through with your usual fun boss battles at the end, and they all look amazing. There are throwbacks to the original games, including the city streets and the headquarters, but Streets of Rage 4 has its own locations, some of my favourites being the gallery, the building site and the police district. Each mission introduces a new kind of enemy or an upgrade version of them, which keeps things fresh right up until the final fight. One thing I did notice is that from around level 9 there was a big spike in difficulty, and you will no doubt see the game over screen quite a few times, even for the seasoned player. And that was me just playing it on normal. But there was always a way to make things a bit easier, and they include activating assists to give extra lives and by using your superstar moves, though this comes at a cost to your score. Level scores are very important, not just for ranking, but they contribute to your lifetime score. Increasing your lifetime score will unlock all the super cool stuff like the original soundtrack and additional characters from the original 3 games like fan favourites Skate and Max, all with their classic movesets and specials. Another addition to the game that made me real happy. So there is plenty of things to do and plenty of replayability. So if you only play the game once, you really are missing out on all the extra cool stuff. And if you're finding the game too easy, then don't worry, because along with the normal difficulty levels, you also get a hardest and an insane mania difficulty level, which will really give your fighting skills a real test. Then we have the graphics of Streets of Rage 4 that can't really get any better here. The graphics have been brought up to the standards of current 2D titles, but it still manages to retain what made Streets of Rage stick in so many people's minds. The character models and the environments, they all look beautiful. There are lots of colour, and the colour coding on enemies make you aware of which threats to keep an eye on, especially when they start to swarm you, which is also a big help in the more hectic multiplayer moments. The stages all stand out and have their own identity, and every stage feels different to the last. If you prefer, you can even change the look of the game by applying retro and old school CRT filters, just like in the old days. Outside of the story campaign, you also get arcade, boss rush and battle modes. Arcade gives you one shot to get through the full Streets of Rage campaign, sending you back to the title screen if you lose all your lives. Boss rush has you facing off against all the bosses from the campaign one after another, and then the returning battle mode puts a nice spin on things, letting you beat the shit out of your friends to decide who is the best. And if that wasn't enough for you, there is still loads of cool retro stuff and characters to unlock, as well as the fantastic 2-player online or couch co-op, and for the first time ever for Streets of Rage, a local 4-player co-op mode. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to play this, as sadly I can't have any friends around due to the COVID virus. Gaming music legends Yuzo Koshiro and Motohiro Kawashima deliver another brilliant playlist here, and they're also joined by a handful of other guest composers who all clearly jumped at the chance to add their own beats to this iconic series. For me, the new playlist was absolutely fantastic. And on top of playing the game with old style graphics, you can also play the game with a classic 90s score if you want, an addition that took me back to my childhood, and I'm really so glad that they added this. And before I end the review, I really want to thank developers Dotemu, Lizard Cube and Guard Crush Games, who you can tell put everything into making this game and gave us older fans and new a game to cherish just like the original 3. I am sure that Sega are very proud of what the teams have done here, and I couldn't be happier with how the game turned out. Me and my friends can't wait to get our hands on this and relive a piece of our childhood. And if you have the Xbox Game Pass, then you can play this great game for free. I am going to give Streets of Rage 4 a rock solid 9 out of 10. Not only because it's a franchise that I love and because of the nostalgia, but because it's a really well made game of a beloved franchise. And it is everything that I had wished for and more. I hope you enjoyed the review, guys. Streets of Rage 4 is definitely a buy. And if you enjoyed the video, then please give me a like and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button so you get notified of when I post a new video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care out there. Bye bye.